Hello, everyone, the world. How are you doing today? I am feeling great. I am feeling grand. I am feeling fabulous. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And what I want to talk about today is forgiveness and the superpower that we live in today. So let's talk about it. But first, before we talk about it, let me give you a background story of me because this is the life of Poon. Thank you for coming. I didn't know how to forgive. I kept things. Oh, and specifically, didn't forgive myself. Oh my God. Let me tell you, it was one of those situations where when I did anything wrong, I didn't forgive myself. I would ask for forgiveness from, you know, and I would never forgive myself, even though I was already forgiven. I didn't want to forgive myself, and I continued going down the same dark road, the same dark tunnel that I was in because I didn't want to forgive myself for everything. So I went around this world so scared to make a mistake because I'm like, I don't want to go through a dark path again. So I wasn't living life because I was so scared of making a mistake and putting more baggage on my back of not forgiving myself. And by me not forgiving myself, I definitely didn't forgive others. I didn't. I felt like they were always wrong. I felt like I played the part, so I was wrong as well because I live life looking at perspectives. And I know that when I have a falling out with somebody, it's not just them. I look at how I acted as well because I can get crazy. And it's one of those things where I didn't know forgiveness. And it held me back from so much in my life. I'm 24 now, and it took me 24 years to understand it. And I feel like I'm just now learning how to live and love me. Let's talk about it. One good example that I would like to use is one of my exes. He was my first love. And when we broke up, I didn't forgive him. Now it's 7 years later, and I just met with him, I say yesterday, the day before. And it was a great time because it made me feel not that I'm in love with him because I'm not, but or I want to get back with him. It was just the fact that I had so much anger, so much hate that I didn't even want to recognize. I didn't want to see him. I didn't want to bump into him. And when I did, the few times I did, I just walked past like, bitch, I don't know you. I don't see you. Because I'm very good at that. But that's not, sometimes it's a good trait, sometimes it's not. And I didn't forgive him for the longest because I just felt so hurt. I felt like I was alone. I felt like I was never loved from him. And that wasn't anything to do with him because he did love me. I'm not going to say that he was perfect because I wasn't perfect. But it was one of the things that I didn't know how to accept love. And I had to realize throughout my journey that people love differently. And you can't expect everybody to be perfect and love you the way that you want to be loved because some people wasn't brought up that way. Some people don't know how. So it's one of those things where you really have to look at people's characteristics and realize what they can give and where's their limits. And I'm not saying change people because you can't change people. You can only walk them. You can only lead the horse to water, but you can't force the horse to drink. Hopefully that makes sense because, bitch, I'm not editing this. Oop, don't flag me. And it's one of those things where I didn't forgive him for the longest time, and I didn't know I was holding that in my heart. I didn't know that I was carrying that on the back of me to each relationship because I was scared of it happening again. I didn't know that by me not forgiving him and by me not always having that unconditional love where it's like, I don't have to go be in a relationship with you. I don't even have to talk to you. but I can still have that unconditional love for you because I love you. And I'm grateful for the time that we had. But you see, growing up, it wasn't like that. I felt as though I couldn't forgive him because I'm like, do you know what you done to me? I went through depression because of my first love. So it was one of those things where I continued each relationship having that on my back, having that in the back of my mind, like, oh, this not gonna happen again, so I'm gonna make sure it don't happen again. Oh, if a guy show me any type of thing like this, it's not. I'm just gonna like break up and go. And it's like, yes, it's certain red flags that you should watch out for with new people, but at the same time, sometimes these new people do things not in a negative way, but they may bring up certain feelings inside you that make you think of the past if you haven't forgave that person. Because at the end of the day, I had that on my back. I couldn't love anybody that came after him because I had that on my back. I had that reminding me every single time, had me in a fearful thinking every single time I was with somebody new because I was scared of it happening again because I didn't want to forgive him. I didn't want to forgive. I was so hurt. And now I know that forgiveness is the greatest superpower you can have. Forgive yourself. Because if you ask for forgiveness, you are forgave. Forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. I'm not condoning a lot of craziness that happens. But in all honesty, we all go through things. And when you meet up with somebody and like y'all start kicking it and go out and whatever, they got baggage too. They're dancing with their demons just as well as you. And you have to kick those demons out. Kick them out. Run over them bitches. Oop, don't flag me. Run over them, back up with your car. Don't play with them demons out in this wilderness. Don't play with it. And it's just one of those things where it's like you have to forgive. I'm not saying go back. I'm not saying you got to call them up. I'm just saying have that unconditional love for yourself and have it for others because you never know what they went through. You never know fully what you're going through. Because in all honesty, I was living my life thinking that I'm so cool, I'm so fine. But in all honesty, I was hurting myself. Every single relationship I went into, I was hurting myself because I kept thinking about it and didn't want it to happen again. So scared of it happening again that I created that fear and made me dispose of the new relationship because I was hurt. Because I didn't want to forgive the past. I didn't want to forgive myself for the mistakes that I made. And it kept me in certain situations that since I didn't forgive myself, I sometimes like stayed in toxic shit because I felt like that's what I deserve. Are you doing that? Forgive yourself fully. Understand where your hurt is coming from. Take the time to realize that we are all human and we all make mistakes, and I'm not condoning anybody doing no evil shit out here in this bitch. Don't flag me. But it's just one of those things where it's like, don't do it to yourself. It's not worth it. Ask for forgiveness and forgive yourself and ultimately forgive others. Because we are all dancing with our own demons in our head. We all are. And as I said, forgiveness is the greatest superpower you can have. Because if you don't forgive, you will continually put yourself in bondage. You will continuously put all your insecurities out on others. You will continuously just be unaware of yourself. And if you are not aware of yourself, bad things gonna happen, baby. Because you can't even see yourself. You can't even see what you're projecting. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for coming to my channel, The Life of Poon. And I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Baby.